So today we have Dr. Sherry O'Donnell, another one of our U.S. Senate candidates who I'm thrilled to interview and let you have a chance to hear her thoughts and positions on important things that are important to citizens for traditional values, to our readers and listeners. And Dr. Sherry, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Eileen, and I so appreciate the interview.
So let's just start right off. In terms of the sanctity of life issue, especially as we even see this issue coming before our RNC platform, which they have maintained, which is good. What, as a U.S. Senator, what impact can you have? And what my thinking is regarding to the federal funding that is going to many national and international family planning agencies. Planned Parenthood comes to mind. What would you do to limit or eliminate that funding that's only going to these kinds of agencies?
Eileen, it's important that we protect life. I do believe, especially as a physician, that life is sacred. And I spent 25 years of my career and life saving life. So I am unopposedly, unabashedly pro-life. And as a federal senator, what I would do is, first off, we need to make certain that some of the bills that are being passed are not the omnibus pork all and everything else included in there, because we need to absolutely stop the funding of Planned Parenthood and organizations like that continue to take life.
Yeah.
So I would want single item bills such that we can pass and say no to Planned Parenthood, and it's not amongst other bills.
Another huge area of concern is the Department of Education. So, what is your thoughts on the recent Department of Education Title IX rule change proposed by President Biden?
Eileen, I can tell as a physician that the anatomical, physiological anatomy of a boy is not the same as a girl. And to put young men into sports competing against women is just ludicrous. And I'm the strongest candidate on these two issues that you're bringing up right now. The pro-life issue, I am the strongest candidate to support life. And also, we are losing ground. Women have fought for rights in so many areas, and now we're actually going to compete against men in women's sports. If they want to transgender, then perhaps there ought to be a separate category for transgender, but men should not compete against women in sports. That is opening up women for injury. It's opening up women, even as what's happened with Riley Gaines, that the sports and the scholarships and the things like that they have tried so hard for are being stolen from them. And I don't know why women are just not absolutely raising up all over the country and putting this back into place, telling them, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So as a senator, what I will do is make certain that that doesn't happen. We'll continue to protect rights of women.
Yeah, we couldn't agree more. It's a nonsensical arguments that we're even having to have these discussions after the hard-fought wins to even get Title IX in the first place.
No.
Would you agree or disagree that the United States should maintain its sovereignty and decline to sign any agreements or treaties with global agencies? The WHO comes to mind without full congressional approval.
We should absolutely disassociate, as far as I'm concerned, with the World Health Organization and the World Economic Forum. As a matter of fact, I was asked to become part of the Geneva Project. I'm not certain if you're familiar with that, but of course, the World Health Organization and WEF was supposed to meet and did in Geneva in the end of May, beginning of June. And what we're trying to do is say, you know what, we don't need the World Health Organization, especially as what we saw, how they responded during COVID and the debacle that was. So I was asked to be part of a leadership, worldwide leadership. Geneva Project has 8 billion people involved with this, and I was going to be one of 80 leaders sitting at a summit and saying, this is our answer forward. So am I in an alliance with the World Health Organization and World Economic Forum? Absolutely not. And we need to stop giving the sovereignty of our medical sovereignty and other things to the World Health Organization and WEF.
Thank you. And how would you address our current southern border crisis? What do you think in your mind should be done to swiftly resolve this problem at our southern border?
I think that's one of the things that I'm most passionate about. I've been down the border, and I've been to the border 5 points of location. Tom Homan, the former director of ICE, has endorsed me because I have a plan on my website, DocSherry2024.com, to close the border. When I was down there, I realized that this is as much a Biden crisis as it is a border crisis. The gentleman that I was working with, Dr. Pete Chambers, and some of the others that have been vehemently saying we've got to close this border, they said it would take 1 week. I said, what do you mean it would take 1 week to close the border? He said, we need one order and 1 week. And just as when we went in and stopped Osama bin Laden, we would have this crisis under control in 1 week. So, I mean, I absolutely support the closure of the border immediately. We've got to stop the asylum seeking. There's so many that are coming in claiming asylum seeking. That's not the case. We need to stop this chain reaction and bringing others across the border. We need to leave intact the remain in Mexico, and we need to just close the border. So I would ask people to check out my website because I have a 21-point plan. When I talked to Tom, I said, Tom, I don't know if my plan makes as much sense. Would you look at it and tell me where I need to be approved on it? And he said, you know what, Doc, if I like it, I'll endorse you. If I don't, I'll educate you. And Eileen, he's done both, but it's garnered the endorsement of Tom Homan because we've got to close the border. The other thing we've got to realize with the border is everything that's being impacted right now by the border. It's a national security. It is a health issue when we're bringing in not only the fentanyl and the opioid, but we're bringing in diseases like TB and sexually transmitted diseases, let alone the insecurity that is created for our elections. There are so many things downstream of the border. We've got to close it.
Well, our time is up, and Dr. Sherry O'Donnell, we appreciate you taking the time to do this interview, and wish you well on the campaign trail. Thank
Thank
you.
you.